Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today. Somehow that made it
so
worse.
Much better.
My name is Greg Tupper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting here in this chair, sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle. A becapped Ashley Pickle. Oh my gosh, you are just a floating head.
Ooh, spooky season.
You can't wear all black.
Yes, correct. That's my only goal now, is to just be a floating head on this show. My entire wardrobe will forever be just all black
just
now.
Just all black, full goth mode.
Yes.
Yeah, it's goth.
I'm in my goth era.
In your goth era. Today is Friday, September 15th, 2023. 69 days until Thanksgiving.
Nice.
What a great day.
Let's go.
Now it's time for America's favorite game show. Pickle guesses how old a celebrity is today.
We need like a fun little intro.
Pickle, today is the birthday of Prince Harry. How old is Prince Harry today?
43.
Prince Harry is 38.
Okay, I wasn't too far off. I couldn't remember which order he was in.
He's the younger one because
he's
not going to be king.
Right.
That's why he left the family. Well, that's not why he left the family,
Harry
but
is the one with
Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Meghan Markle. It is episode 1650. You sure? I think it's 51.
No, 51.
Today's 51. 1651. On today's show, folks, we've got Craven Bets, Mike Craven's best bets for the college football weekend across the state of Texas. After that, it's Helpful Honda Mailback Friday. We're answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, all of them that you submitted on Wednesday in the comments. So we appreciate your courage in submitting your questions on Wednesday. We will solicit them every Wednesday for Helpful Honda Mailbag, and then we'll answer them today. Again, the whole bit is that we're just getting you to tune in twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole we're on Front Street about this. Yes. We're not trying to trick you. So anyway, we will have Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday coming up here at the back half of the program. Reminder, tonight, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
Let's go.
It is a live 2.5-hour whip-around show with coverage across the state of Texas of the best high school football games around. Tonight, it'll be Nick Lalpius and Gavin Moritz on the desk, breaking down all the highlights from across the state of Texas. It is Texas High School Football Red Zone. It is free and available everywhere on TexanLive.com and on YouTube. I'm going to repeat that. It's free and available everywhere.
Share the link with your friends.
TexanLive.com and on YouTube. So go check that out tonight. When you're out at a game, you can ignore the game that you're at and instead watch a screen, which is, I think, what God intended.
Mm-hmm. Multitasking.
So, sure, check that out. Pickle, big weekend of college football ahead, including tonight.
Yeah.
This game tonight.
Which should be illegal.
As the troops come to town. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. All right. Somebody's against the troops. You heard it here first.
I'm not against the troops. It's the water troops, the aqua troops?
No, it's the land troops. It's the land troops.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But
that's right.
There's only one person that we trust with our money around here when it comes to college football, and that's Mike Craven on a segment we call Craven Bets. Craven Bets here in the auxiliary studio, aka our conference room, because there's other stuff going on in the main studio. But nevertheless, we're here for America's most lucrative segment, Craven Bets, here on Craven's Corner, because on this corner,
we make money. Did you get downgraded because we went to 2 and 3 last week? You lost some of the budget money there?
We went to, yeah, exactly. That's exactly, like, whenever we have a losing week, we have to come into the conference room to do this, which is tough, but, we'll make do. Now, and I think we pride ourselves on a little bit of, we want to be transparent. 2 and 3, which means we're 5 and 5, which is a loser, by the way. We're out the VIG right now, but we got an opportunity to rally here. It's an odd week of games in the state of Texas. It's kind of a thin week for plays, right?
Yeah, it is. So, I kind of told you going into week one to lay low on your bets. Don't bet your normal amount of units. I think this is the last week that's true for. Watch this week. Keep it low. Maybe spend time with your family one last time before we get into the real football season where you really start putting some coin down and watching some real football games.
Well, let's start with a conference opener, the Big 12 debut of the Houston Cougars, who have got to be feeling good, I presume. I didn't watch last week's Bayou Bucket game. I presume they took care of business. They are hosting the reigning national runners-up, the TCU Horned Frogs. Houston is catching 7.5, and you like the home Cougs.
I do. This could be a trap. Usually they give you that half point when they're begging you to take that side of it. So, Vegas wants you to take Houston. I'm going to take Houston. I'm not so sure what TCU is. I think that they're a better football team, obviously. But they haven't shown it against real good competition so far. Gave up a lot of points against Colorado. Dana Holgorsen knows how to scheme them up. I'd imagine they're as motivated as they can be. First game in the Big 12. Going to have a big stadium. Just lost to Rice. So give me Houston not to win this game. But to lose by 7 or less.
I think I agree with you. I think where I'm at is I don't think you're right. We don't know what TCU is quite yet, and especially like their defense hasn't stopped anybody of particular note at this point. Although Houston didn't put it up until they were down 28-0. Didn't necessarily have too much offense last week either. All right, let's now move to a Friday night game. And no, we do not wager on Texas high school football. It's a Friday night college football game at the Alamo Dome as the troops are coming to town. The UTSA Roadrunners host the Army Black Knights. UTSA is laying 8.5, and that's good enough for you to offer it to the troops.
I'm going to take Army, a different offense than the one UTSA saw last year, but it was a really close game. I'm not sure the status of Frank Harris. Whether he plays or not, I'm not sure. And if he does play, how long does he last? If you're Jeff Traylor, you're probably looking more towards conference play than trying to win as many games as possible. I mean, you want to win them all, but you're going to focus on the American. So if Frank needs a game or two to sit out and get healthy, I think you give him that. If Frank wasn't playing, this line is closer to 4.5 or 5, I'd imagine. So I'm going to take the juice. I'm going to take the 8.5 before it falls, in my opinion.
And you mentioned it. It's worth mentioning. If you haven't seen Army since the last time, I don't know, like the last Army-Navy game, they have kind of revitalized their offense. They're throwing the ball a lot more. They are not just the straight triple anymore. So if you're walking into the Alamo Dome expecting to see triple option football, there's still those elements, but they are certainly airing it out a little bit more with Bryson Daly.
You can't run the triple anymore in college because they changed the blocking rules. You can't cut block from the outside in the same way that you used to be able to, and you still can in high school. And so a lot of programs are starting to move away from it because you can't block it the same.
Last play of the week on Craven Bets as North Texas will take on Louisiana Tech on the road in Ruston. This is a North Texas team that, they're down bad. They're down bad right now. They are catching 5 points on the road. And you think that Louisiana Tech is going to win by more than 5?
I don't always believe in the I played this opponent, you play this opponent. But they both played FIU. La Tech won by 5. North Texas did not win. And so give me La Tech. Sonny Cumbie's on his second year. That's a big advantage. Just think of the Mike Leach influence on this weekend of football, by the way. Dana Holgorsen, Sonny Dykes, former assistant coaches for him, playing in the first Big 12 game. Eric Morris, Sonny Cumbie, former players for him, head coaching in this game. So shout out to the Pirate. I'm going to take the opposite of North Texas until they kind of figure out quarterback, and more importantly, until they figure out what they're doing on defense.
Is Mike Craven. He's our financial advisor here on Craven Bets. Hopefully we are back in the studio next week, because that would mean that we were back on Craven's Corner, because on Craven's Corner
we make money.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
All right, Pickle. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for Helpful Honda Mailback Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Visit your North Texas Honda dealers today or ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
So if you've got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, you should have asked them on Wednesday.
Yeah,
that's when we solicit questions
boo.
for Helpful Honda Mailback Friday, so make sure you're watching on Wednesday with This Week in Recruiting. I don't need to talk to you about watching This Week in Recruiting. It's got Greg Powers on it.
Yes.
That's the whole sell job. I don't need to go any further. It's got Greg Powers. But I believe we got some questions from the people, Pickle?
Yeah, top matchup of top 10s here. Number 3, China Spring. Number 7, Connolly. What are your thoughts?
Ooh. It's a really fascinating game that I think might be flying under the radar here. And for Connolly, I'll tell you this. They have been really impressive. 3-0 to start the year, and their offense has been on one. Last week up against Cameron, they were spectacular. Kiefer Sibley, he's in another universe right now. He's been so good this year. Their quarterback, Jamarian Vincent, we haven't talked about enough. He's been really good. And then not to mention Kobe Black, who's like a 5-star cornerback. Yep. Like, they're loaded. They're loaded for bear. I have some questions about their defense, and their defense is definitely going to get tested this week against China Spring. China Spring, I think, showed some really good balance last week. And they were playing Mejia. They're a lot better than Mejia, in my opinion. But it wasn't all Cash McCollum. Kyle Barton had a really nice game when the game was competitive, basically, and then they kind of pulled everybody. But this is a China Spring offense that I think is starting to round into form. The question for me is going to continue to be on that defense for both sides. I think this has, like, shootout written all over it, depending on what the weather looks like tonight. That could tamp things down. So, kind of grain of salt with every game we talk about. If the weather's cruddy, that's going to usually tamp down scoring. Yeah. And so that
especially with two teams like this.
Absolutely. Like especially two teams that like to get out and run. You're exactly right. So I would say I like China Spring at home in this one. But certainly if they're not going to have any interest in containing Kiefer Sibley, then like it appears nobody has had much interest in containing Kiefer Sibley, then Connolly's absolutely capable of winning this game. And this is just I think this is a real measuring stick game for Connolly, an opportunity to prove that they are a real threat in Region 3 of 4 Division 2. They will have to see China Spring. China Spring's 4A Division 1. But if they can get this win on the road at China Spring, I think it would really send some shockwaves across the state and say, all right, Connolly is a team to be dealt with, a team to be reckoned with there in Region 3 of 4 Division 2. Obviously, it'll go through Carthage and the East Texas Power. Is that right? Do I have that wrong?
No.
Yeah, I think that's right. But that is, for me, that's where kind of where I like. No, I'm sorry, Carthage is in Region 2. Duh, I'm sorry.
That's what you said, right?
Yeah, but Conley's in Region 3. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So I would say, for me, I am looking for, if Conley can win this game, I think that they establish themselves as a real threat in 4A Division 2 on that right side of the bracket. And then obviously, look, if China Spring is a contender in 4A Division 1, they're back-to-back state champs. But this would be a real, especially at home, for them to defend against a super hyper-athletic, super fast team. I think that would go a long way towards proving that they belong. So I like China Spring, especially being at home. They don't lose at home, although they lost to Melissa a couple weeks ago at home. I like China Spring in this one. What is next, Pickle?
Let's go with a question we haven't asked in a really long time. Will Allen make the playoffs this year? It's definitely not a guarantee like it has been for Chex Notes ever.
It's definitely a good question. They have not, if you're interested, they haven't missed the playoffs since 1998 when Todd Graham was the coach. So they've made 25 straight years. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting question. Okay, so let's start with this. I think that Allen is pretty clearly flawed.
Yes.
And I think that they are pretty clearly flawed on the defensive side, and I also think that they have got to grow into the quarterback spot. I mean, this is a team that in three games is giving up 38 points a game. Now, DeSoto is pretty good, but they only scored 39. They gave up 45 at home to C.E. King. Mm-hmm. And they gave up 31 to an Arlington Martin team that coming into that game had scored all of 8 points.
Yep.
So I have big concerns about the Allen defense. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the question. Okay. You got to take a look at District 5, 6A, and you've got to find 4 teams that are better than Allen, right? I think Geyer is better than Allen.
Yes.
Any objection there?
No, not at all.
I think the team Geyer is playing, Prosper, I think they are better than Allen.
Yeah, their offense has been lighting it up. That would be a really difficult test for Allen's defense.
Any complaints saying that Allen that Geyer and Prosper are better than Allen?
No.
Do you have any objections to saying that McKinney is better than Allen this year?
They're the only 3-0 team in that district.
I think they looked the part.
And
I think that they're for real.
They haven't been light little fluke wins.
No, they've looked very good.
Again, another offensive power.
So now you're talking about, and by the way, I believe that game is at McKinney. Yeah, it's at McKinney in Week 8. Okay. It then gets to, you got to run the table at the bottom of the district. Okay, and so here are teams that I'm pretty sure they're better than. Allen's better than Little Elm. Little Elm can't score. I think Little Elm's offense is very limited. I think they're better than McKinney Boyd. McKinney Boyd, that's who they play tonight, by the way. If they lose that game, then certainly we can close the book on Allen.
Yes.
But they shouldn't. I think McKinney Boyd has severe defensive deficiencies. I think they're better than Braswell. I'm just not sold on Braswell.
Yeah.
They're 1-2, but I'm just not sold on them because that's who they play, by the way, next week. Their win is over Keller Fossil Ridge, who's fine, but then they got beat by 3 touchdowns by Byron Nelson in a rain-shortened game, and they lost to Northwest Eaton. And then you get to what I think is the real turn game here for Allen, what is ultimately going to determine their season, and that is in 2 weeks, Week 6, Friday night at Prosper Rock Hill. Mm-hmm. Right now, I think Allen's a touchdown favorite against Rock Hill. Right now.
Yeah.
It's a 1-score game, though. That's the thing. If Allen wins that game, they're going to make the playoffs. If Allen loses that game, they're probably not. That's the reality of it.
And honestly, we could get our answer in the next 2 weeks. Because
Absolutely.
Like you said, if they drop to either McKinney Boyd or Denton Braswell, then it's a no.
I think Braswell, if Braswell plays their paper, and they play if they clean things up defensively, I think they can beat them. But for now, I will say yes. I would say that Allen will make the playoffs, although I think they're going to finish 4th. Right now, that's my pick, which is crazy to say, but I think that's the reality of the situation. All right. Do we have any more? Got one more?
Yeah. What food have you ever had that you were told, oh, you'll love it? Worst food
Oh,
that
the
you've ever
worst
had.
food. Okay.
Ooh, that someone's told me that I've loved it.
All
That
right.
I love it.
All right. I'm gonna do a compliment sandwich here. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a compliment sandwich. In 2021, we did the cover shoot in Brownwood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we did the cover shoot in Brownwood. And Brownwood is a lovely place.
Mhm.
Lovely place, lovely people, great stadium. Love everything in there. They have a famous restaurant there.
Underwoods.
It's Underwoods. And everyone will tell you to get the barbecue at Underwoods. So here's the compliment.
is
The
such a good
compliment bread.
example.
Compliment bread. Constructive criticism sandwich, right? Or
Yes.
meat, right? The barbecue's not it.
No, the chicken fried steak.
Go to Underwoods, get the chicken fried steak.
steak.
You see the sandwich I
Don't
made?
get the barbecue.
No, the
yeah.
barbecue. The barbecue is it's not Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of barbecue it is. It's
It's almost, to me, it's more like a home style barbecue.
like a home style like meatloaf
Loaf.
barbecue.
Yeah, so it's like it I don't know, it's a home style kitchen, like it's a cafeteria. That's what it's supposed to taste like.
Mhm.
So they're doing it right, but I feel like when people think barbecue, small town in Texas, this is going to hit. It's not that it doesn't hit. It's just not what you're expecting.
It's not. I think maybe that's it. Maybe I came in with the wrong expectations, but
Yeah.
I was told get the barbecue at Underwoods. That's what they do.
And you're expecting a rack of ribs
That's exactly
and all
right.
this
Or
stuff,
brisket.
and it's
Yeah.
not that.
It's not that. It's just so different. And so that
Yeah.
was probably the thing I was like,
It's like meat
no.
in barbecue sauce.
But then you get the chicken fried steak, and you're like,
oh my god, the chicken fried steak at
the chicken
Underwoods
fry.
is so good.
And that is also the moment when we got to watch Jeff Traylor do the most East Texas thing of all time,
he put ketchup.
which is he had the cream gravy, he put ketchup all over it. And like me, I'm looking at him like, and he's looking at me like I'm the weird one. Like,
Yeah.
no, you've been doing this wrong.
I will
Tupper.
never forget when the lady in the and I say cafeteria line because that's literally what it is. It's they market it as a cafeteria, but the lady behind the cafeteria line, she goes, "Would you like gravy?" And in front of the entire restaurant, Jeff Traylor kind of got his coach voice on, and he goes, "What's chicken fried without gravy?"
What's chicken
I didn't
fried
know
gravy?
you could eat it without
It was
gravy.
like, it was a
He's like-
genuinely offensive thing to ask him.
Yeah.
It was like you asked him like if you could like date his daughter like the
Yeah.
moment that you met her. It's
Yeah.
like absolutely
Not.
not. What's no.
What in
No.
the world?
Yeah, it was a true East Texas moment there. Do you have one that a food that you were told is going to be great that
No, I feel like that happens more with drinks. Like, oh, you're gonna love this, and it's like, yeah.
I mean, there's. I know I've said this before, but like,
Oh yeah, is your sweet tea?
I'm not into sweet tea.
Yeah.
And there's people who will tell you that this place, such and such place, has the best sweet tea. And every time I get it, every time I try it, when somebody says you gotta get the sweet tea's the best, you gotta
Yeah.
do it. Every time I'm like, this is just sugar water with leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that way about coffee sometimes. Like, I'm pretty usual, like, straight black coffee, and every now and then I like a flavored straight black coffee. Like, if you want to add some pumpkin spice flavoring into, like, but it's the actual beans, you know, where it's just straight black, I'll do that. But every now and then it's been like, oh, well, if you like flavored coffee, like, you'll like this, and you get it, and you're like, ew.
Not about it. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly it comes down to taste and like what you're into, but like, I don't know. I'm also the guy who I trust my friends whenever they tell me to eat and drink something, but like I also trust them with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I was going to say that happens with like flavored stuff too a lot. Like, just because you like cherry flavored something doesn't mean you're going to necessarily like cherry flavored this. Or like you like barbecue chips, but you might not like this style of barbecue chip. You know,
Absolutely.
like I feel like you can like the brand of whatever it is. Like maybe you like Pringles, but there's a certain Pringle flavor that you're like, no, don't like that. You know,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, but you like Pringles, so you'll like this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
These are the types of things that you're into, right? So
Yeah.
like you'll enjoy this kind. It's like maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Candy's that way too.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I like sour candy, and it's like, but I don't like that sour candy. you
Yeah,
know?
well, especially like sour candy is a good example because sour candy, it has to be the right kind. Or like, there's also when people tell you that they like, oh, like try this, it's not that spicy.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
that is like it's not that spicy to you.
Yep.
To you.
Yeah, that's a really good
because for example, like I like spicy foods. I like spicy foods.
I do too.
One time in El Paso, notwithstanding, when I got a little too
oh my God.
liberal with some salsa when we were out with the coach.
He was sweating,
Oh
and
my God,
Steph
it
and I
was
were
tough.
just looking at him like
That was tough.
weak.
It was tough. That was hot salsa. I just took too much of it. Okay? But
He was weak
But
that night.
all I'm saying is when my in-laws come in town, my in-laws are from Missouri.
Yeah.
I will get like what I consider to be, call it medium mild salsa, right? I think everybody understands what I'm saying. It's got some kick to it, but it's on the mild side
Yeah.
of medium, right? There's the hot side
But
of
you
medium.
can taste the flavor. It's not
Exactly.
just hot.
Right. And I'll get that, and my in-laws will be like, absolutely not.
That's so
No.
funny. Yeah, see, usually for me, people will say, oh, you'll like it. It's spicy. And I'll taste it, and I'm like, damn, I expected more spice. You know?
Right, yeah.
Like, that's
I
usually
want
it for me.
I mean, I want a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
I want a little bit of
Yes.
pain.
If my
The
nose,
time in El Paso, it was a lot of pain.
if my nose isn't like, oh, okay, that was
Yeah.
a kick. That's how I like it. Yeah, you look like a Looney Tunes thing where they like get really red and then the smoke comes out of the
Have you ever?
ears.
Okay, now do you eat sushi?
No, see, I'm not a big sushi.
We're now
person.
on a tangent here, but like, so I love sushi, and
That's like the one thing that I'm not a
and
fan
I'll
of.
tell you, like I love wasabi on my sushi. I love it because of that exact thing. It's not hot. It's just like there's got to be a different way to describe like spicy things, but you only feel like through your nose.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like it's not spicy. You're not like,
No,
you know.
it's just a little bit of good pain. That
Yeah,
we
I mean, I
enjoy for
love that.
sicko reasons.
Like, I like horseradish for that
Yeah.
reason too. Like, I like to feel it in the back of my
Yeah.
of my nose. But that's the thing is that I'm always wary whenever somebody says, "Hey, you should try it," but it's a little bit spicy. I want to go find someone else who I know what their spice level
Yes.
is and be like, "All right, what is it?"
My-
And if it's somebody who's got a high tolerance and they're like, "Oh no, it's spicy," then it's like, "Ooh, okay."
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Might
It's
be a
the
little
same.
too-
It's the same difference of people liking salsa, but not necessarily liking to eat jalapenos on things.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a difference between the two.
Yeah. Anyway, hope that's an answer to your question. That is all for us today. Make sure you watch Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight, 7:30 p.m. on TexanLive.com and on YouTube. But before we go, there's one last thing to do, Pickle, and that is to roll out the Week 3 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the Tax Act Texas Bowl, is proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each Monday, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. Fans then decide the winner by voting on TexasFootball.com. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week award. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com.